Hi, it's the Carter Man. I got my Lowe's hat on this evening, March 25th, Saturday, March 25th. I got my Lowe's hat on, even got my Lowe's red vest on, okay? From the 3 months I spent at Lowe's. And by the way, you have to earn this red vest, okay? They just don't hand you the red vest when you walk in the door. You have to show that you're a good Lowe's employee, which I was at the paint desk. And I'm going to tell you, listen, I'm prouder of those 3 months I was at Lowe's than the 3 years previous when I was at the top of the game in politics in Washington, because I was with real Americans, okay? Good, decent people without political agendas who worked the day long serving a good purpose, building the country, okay? There you go, my Lowe's outfit, all right? There you go, look, Carter. That's pretty good. Now, why am I wearing it? Well, I've told you about the 4 pillars of political reform that we're pushing at Conservative Constitutional Rights PAC. And they are, as you know, term limits. Got to have term limits. Get these bums out of town after 6 years. You got to have total recall. If 30% of the people in a district or state sign petitions to recall the senator or the congressman, got to have an election. And if they lose, they're out the door. Got to have it. Because otherwise, these people never leave otherwise, okay? So we got to have recall. Got to have salary, income caps, and finally, session caps. Congress can stay in session 6 months, and then they have to go home. They've done enough damage for that year. They have to go home before they completely destroy everything in sight. Okay? Got to have these things. Remember what I always tell you, we're not pushing to fix the problems in Washington. We're fixing to totally restructure the political system. Somebody says they're there to fix the problems. If an organization says we're going to fix the problems in Washington to you, any other organization, there are some other good ones, but if they say that, you know that they ain't going to fix the problem. They're part of the problem. It ain't fixable. We got to have total restructuring. The third pillar is what I want to talk to you about, and that's why I'm wearing my workaday hat and vest. And that is the income caps, because I've gotten a lot of questions about that. They say, you don't think rich people should be allowed to serve in the Senate or the House? Yeah, they can serve if they want to. Have at it. Have a ball for 6 years. Then go back home. But during that time, they have to live on the exact same income of the median average worker in their state or district, okay? You can't represent people you don't resemble. You just can't. I'm telling you, it can't be done. Let me give you a quick story. My father was a Methodist minister, as some of you know. And I was raised in inner city Baltimore, Hamden, incredible community, real blue-collar community. That's why I like blue-collar people. And Dad lived in the parsonage in Hamden, okay? Right next to the church. So when we went shopping, we went up on the avenue, 36th Street, and shopped with the blue-collar workers, okay? We lived their lives. We knew their hopes and joys and sorrows and heartaches because we were part and parcel of the community. We didn't say, okay, my dad didn't say, okay, I'll preach here in Hamden, but I'm living up in Roland Park, the wealthy area that was adjacent to Hamden. No. When Dad walked up on the avenue, he ate at the El Paso, like all the other blue-collar workers. He shopped at Huffman's grocery store, the whole 9 yards. Because you got to resemble the people if you want to represent them, or in his case, preach to them, okay? Be one of them. That's what I'm saying. But let me give you an example. If let's say Mitt Romney, who's worth 100 million or so, wants to run around in these kind of shoes, okay? Can you believe that price tag? $30,000. Now, I'm not saying he wears those shoes, but yeah, I'll bet you his are pretty expensive. I'll bet you they're pretty expensive. You know the old thing about you got to walk a mile in a person's shoes? There ain't too many Americans walking a mile in those shoes or anything resembling them, but I'll bet you Mitt Romney does, though. I'll bet you Mitt Romney does. I'll bet you, as a matter of fact, there's not a member of the House or Senate. We know the average net worth of a senator is $7 million, and half the members of the House are millionaires. I bet none of them walk in those shoes, okay? Well, if you don't walk a mile in those shoes, you probably don't know too much about the people who do. I'm sorry. Again, if you want to represent people, you have to be able to identify with them, know what they're going through in their daily lives, particularly when you, as a politician in Washington, passing all these ghastly bills, are inflicting most of the problems they're having on them. Well, let me give you another example. Here is the home of Representative McCall, Michael McCall, down there in the 10th District of Texas. That ain't bad. That ain't bad, is it? Old Mikey is a net worth of $113 million. By the way, he married into it. I'd say he's living pretty high on the hog. Well, what about the people there in Giddings, right there in the heart of his district? Well, their average income is $55,000 a year. His net worth is $113 million. Their net income, his home, what do you think that mansion costs? What do you think old Mikey's mansion costs there? 10, 20 million, probably. Well, the average home in Giddings there, where he's supposed to be representing those people, is $150,000. And that's the kind of home he should really be living in. And he should be living, while he's representing those people, off $55,000 a year. That's what I mean by the third pillar. Member of the Senate or House has to live on the average income in his state or district. Okay, we got to get this situation under control. These people are bogus. They are bogus. Let them go to work at Lowe's for a while. Let them see if they can earn a red vest, okay? So they can see how real people live. They're out of touch, and they are beyond caring about being out of touch, because they don't want to live like the rest of us. Well, when we have our way, and we are going to win, and we are going to win on those 4 pillars, and we're going to enforce them. Mark my words, okay? We're not going to stop until it happens. I want to hear any of their claptrap about, well, there are certain rules. There are no rules in government. There are no... Government is whatever the politicians say it is at any moment. You think not? Well, how about when SVB went bankrupt 2 weeks ago, and there is a law that's been on the books since, I think, 1934, FDI insurance up to $250,000, and Toxic Joe Biden went out and announced, well, we're covering everything. We're covering, there are people who have $400 million in there, and we're covering it. Whoa, what about the law? Didn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's not a law, rule, or regulation that matters to politicians. Our 4 pillars, they're going to pass them, like them or not, and we don't want to hear any nonsense about what their rules are, okay? They can do it. Matter of fact, not only can they do it, they will do it, because we're going to make them. Let's do this thing.